Today I want to talk about patience. I know, huge word, and it's like I have patience, but let's take a little bit deeper dive. And hopefully the words come easier than how we're starting. So, patience. You ever notice how you have patience for others? A great deal of patience, really. You give them space, they come to you for support, for help, and you're there for them and you help them in whatever way that looks, what they're needing, what they're asking you for. And you do it out of love for that person, right? But then there's the patience we have for ourselves. I'm going to use this in a couple of different ways. So there's patience with ourselves, maybe learning a new skill set. Maybe you're learning some, I don't know, some new tech process at work or something for your home. And it's just frustrating beyond belief. That's usually me. And I usually have to ask for help because I have problems with tech, but I get impatient with myself is where I'm going with this. I get impatient with myself because I feel I should be able to do this. This appears to be relatively straightforward and simple. And I seem to have, some sort of quirk or something that it will start out really well. It's like, okay, we're going, we're going, we're going. And it's really cool. And then something goes sideways. It's not working right. I cannot figure out why. I have like almost zero patience for that. I am not the best tech person. But then also, and I'll try and push through that. I will try and try and try. I'll chat GBT it all over the place. I will try and figure it out for myself until I get to the point where it's like, okay, all right, Terry, you need help. You need some support with this. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. I have to tell myself that, and I'm telling you that. Then there's the patience with ourselves when it comes to our feelings, maybe even healing. So it comes, and I know I say this a lot, it comes in layers. It doesn't come all at once. I think if it came all at once, I think it would be so overwhelming that it would just almost shut us down in some cases, depending on the situation of of those feelings. And then we try and hustle and grind and do all the things, to get through the healing stage, to get through the tech problem, to get through maybe what life is throwing at you at the moment. And when we try and hustle and grind through it and not ask for help and settle this hustle and grind situation we got going, and then another one comes along, and another one comes along, and another one comes along. And it creates stress within us. It creates sometimes even a sense of overwhelm. And sometimes, maybe a lot of times, this thought starts to go through your mind. It has for me. It's definitely has happened to me is I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not doing enough. I need to try harder. Why can't I do this? And so we keep pushing. And that is a piece of control. We are trying to control a process, a situation, feeling, or healing. And it comes up on repeat over and over again. So is it that you're not trying hard enough and I ask myself this too, is the universe telling us through all these signs in our lives that it's time to set down the control? Just set it down. Ask for help where we need help. In reference to healing, we cannot hustle and grind through that. We can't. We need patience with ourselves. And everyone is on a different journey. And everyone's timing is going to be so, so different. I often talk about my healing journey really started when I went through the abortion recovery program. And I was trying to hustle through that thing. And I didn't really want to feel all the very uncomfortable feelings that I was feeling. And at one point, I came to realize that I needed to feel all these feelings. I needed to recognize them. I needed to give myself permission to feel the way I felt about that whole experience. Myself, the people that were involved, everything that I felt. And definitely came in layers. And the layers come when we're ready for the next step in that healing process. And that next step, I'm going to say we have to give ourselves patience, have the feelings, recognize them, allow yourself to have them, have the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the grief, the loss you may be feeling, maybe feeling a little lost in all of that, because sometimes that can get to be a lot. And where do you start? What do you do? Can you just be, not to do, but to be? And be can look different for all of us. For me, a lot of times being, when I'm in the midst of something, is I need physical activity. It could be cleaning the house, doing some gardening, going for a walk. Walks are my big ones. And when it's not nice outside, I'll clean the house. And it allows me to move that energy and to the feelings I'm having and ask myself, why am I having this feeling? Especially if it's around anger. If I'm angry about something, the first question I am going to ask myself, even when I'm angry with myself over something, okay, what's behind the anger? Is it frustration? Is it overwhelm? Is it pressure to feel, to do and do and do and do? Because that's kind of our culture, right? We just do. We go, 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 go. And if we don't move through that, if we don't let ourselves move that through that, and we just, it keeps building and it keeps building, and life keeps showing us, the universe is telling us, okay, these are signs. Let the control go, set it down. At some point, you almost become numb to it and you just go. You don't even allow yourself to recognize what's really going on within you. And that's honestly far more important to me than what's going on around you. It's the inward. That's what we want to look at. So one of the things I used to do, I still do it, not as frequently, and maybe I should. Oh, there's that word should. Maybe I want to start looking that more frequently. I don't want to should anybody, including myself, like we have to go do something. No, your inner child, that inner little girl. When you picture that inner little girl, how does she look to you? How does she react to you? Is she happy? Is she kind of like sad or just kind of like, just very low in energy, I guess? She's just kind of like moping around. You know how like little ones do when they're frustrated or they get angry or no one's paying attention to them. And they just kind of, shuffle their feet, look down and go, ho hum. Or is she happy? Is she jumping up and down like, yeah, let's go do this. This is so much fun. I love this and I feel so good and it's just amazing. Or is it somewhere in between? Does it change from day to day? When we start to look at that inner child, and it could be from early childhood traumas to teenage traumas to early adult traumas and maybe abuse, and traumas come in so many different forms. When I first started my healing, I'm going to go on a side tangent here. When I first started my healing journey and I was working with a guide, she would often refer to my experiences that I would tell her about and help me work through as traumas. Now, then my understanding was trauma was like someone did something to me. I mean, like physically harmed me, abuse. Okay, abuse. And the experiences that I was relaying to her, and my first thought was, that's not trauma. No one hurt me. No one physically hurt me. But as I've moved through this healing journey of mine, what I have come to realize, and it took me a while, um, because maybe I wasn't ready at the time to accept that these experiences that I was speaking to her about, to needing to work through because they were just always on my heart all the time on rinse and repeat. And it just, I knew something had to change, something had to shift, and I didn't know what it was. And she would refer to it as trauma. And I was very resistant against that word. And sometimes I feel it's overused, I'll be honest. When I look at that now, they were traumas. As much as I'm not crazy about the word, I think it's just kind of the way it makes me feel, is what comes to mind there. But when I was going through all those things, and there was a lot of inner child work there, a lot. And I would have this image pop up of my younger self. Actually, here's a picture of my younger self. Let's see, can you see that? If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see that. I was 4 years old there. She's kind of cute. Anyway, that smiling little long-haired girl in this flowery dress. That's a black and white picture, but you know what? I still remember that dress. I still remember that dress. And even though I was 4 years old, it was my absolute favorite dress in the whole entire world. I loved wearing that dress. I felt so pretty. Anyway, when I see my inner child, she was sad. She was, I would almost say she was hiding. She was afraid to come out and be her true self. And that's what I'm hoping you hear, and it connects with you today. When you picture your inner child, how does she look? How does she look? How's her hair? Is she wearing a dress? Maybe shorts and a top? She kind of scruffy because she's been playing in the dirt and having fun? Or is she just kind of morose and sad, kind of lost and lonely, really? And I use those descriptive words because like I said, when I first started my journey down this healing road, and this image of my little girl self would pop up in my mind. And those were the things I saw in this beautiful white dress with blue flowers, long hair, but lonely and sad. And she felt lost and she didn't know what to do. And yeah, she was afraid. She was afraid to come out behind the door to show who she really was, because everyone kept saying, don't do that. Don't be her. You need to be like this over here. Be like your sister. Be like your cousin. Be like your friend next door. Be like somebody else. And while they may not, or they may have used those words to you, it hurt your little heart. It hurts my heart just thinking about it. And I will say, no one ever said that to me. Nobody ever said that to me. But that's how I felt. I didn't feel like I could be who I was meant to be, how I am. And a lot of that came from loss of my mom at a very, very young age. And then right on top of that was the loss of my grandfather, who I loved dearly. Those hurt me, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to grieve. So I kept pushing myself down and trying to be like everybody else. And the harder I tried to be like everybody else, I was creating such a pool of stress and overwhelm. And, as a child, you're searching for who you are, how you are, and you start putting those other things that were going on top of it. That's a lot for a little one to go through. And that little one, as I described, was living in my heart. And I wouldn't let myself see her until I started on this journey. And I would say up until maybe a year ago, I would still see her as a very sad little girl who felt lost, who didn't feel loved, who didn't feel accepted, who felt like she didn't belong anywhere. And she was just trying to figure it out. And I had a shift, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was a shift in my healing, and it was huge. And when that happened, that broke that image I had of that little self. And when I see her now, she is happy, she's carefree, she's playful, she's loving. She runs up to you and she hugs you. And it's like, I love you. Thank you so much for loving me back. Now, the reason I tell you all this is all of that journey from the day I started that healing to today and into the future. It takes patience with yourself, it takes patience and love with yourself to let yourself be, to allow yourself to be, even, daily, maybe just start out with 5 minutes. Just be you. And that 5 minutes might look like I'm going to go take a walk by myself. I'm going to listen to music or not and just be with myself. It could look like I'm going to crank up the music and I'm going to dance like nobody's watching because I do that too. And that I always have so much fun with it. I love doing that and that expels a lot of energy, especially when I'm frustrated. So there's a little tip there for you. You might want to try. But what if you could start to shift that picture of your inner child to where she's happy and she looks so forward to the day with you for those amazing experiences. And yes, sometimes they're going to be hard and sometimes they're going to be frustrating and sometimes you're just going to get downright angry. It's like, what the heck? And again, I'll say, what's behind the anger? Because I do have to stop myself and ask myself that because it's so easy to blanket those frustrations, maybe those hurt feelings of what someone said or did to you under the title of anger. But there's usually much more to it. We just kind of like, I'm angry, I'm ticked off, and you just go and you just kind of shove it aside, don't you? But if you stop, it's like, okay, what about this made me angry, in air quotes? Was it what she said or that someone said or felt like you had to be like a certain way? And sometimes another side note here, I get that, people are like, well, you should have said this, you should have done that. There's that should. Okay. They can do that. That's for them. That's their stuff. And when we can recognize that is their stuff, it's not yours, and set it down, it's a big help. But also, and I just actually had this conversation yesterday. Someone made a comment to me, you should write your emails more more direct, cause and effect. That's what they were looking for. In business terms, it was cause and effect in that particular conversation. And what I heard was I should. And immediately my resistance went up. I was like, I shouldn't be like someone else. I want to be who and how I am. And sometimes how I communicate, I go around the bush a few times, but we eventually land there, understanding those differences and being patient with yourself and not trying to turn yourself into what someone says you should be. You are you. You are unique. There is no one else here like you. There's no one else here like me. And what makes us, makes you, makes me so special. And when we try and hide that and we don't allow that patience for us to be who we are, then we start to become numb and we try harder and harder. Can we give ourselves a pause, give ourselves a little love, and just be for 5 minutes a day? And then maybe extend that to 10 minutes, and so on, and so on, and so on. And if you need help with this, not if you need help, I invite you to reach out to me to find out how you can implement this, how you can start this journey in a way that feels good for you, and find that little girl again and and turn that little sad, maybe sad, lost face into one of joy and love and excitement, and allow yourself to have fun. And fun looks different for everybody. It absolutely does. And for example, it's Saturday morning as I'm recording this, and it's just a little bit after 8:30 in the morning. And I have an outing planned with my husband this morning when I get done here. It's what is it? We're going to go to the nursery for herbs and veggies and flowers. Now, if there is one thing in the world that will light me up and I have the best time doing it, I have fun doing this, is picking out all the plants. What do I want our veggie garden to look like this year? What do I want to put in my herb garden this year? What do I want my flowers to look like this year? And the flowers thing that, I may have a picture in my mind, but by the time I get there and walk out the door, it is usually completely different because I see something I just got to have. And all of a sudden I've got flowers blooming everywhere and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the choosing of the plants. I love digging in the dirt and planting them and watering them and watching them grow. And I use that analogy, A, because it's fun. I love it. And I get to go do it in about an hour. And also, can you use that analogy in a way that feels good to you, fun to you, and allow that little girl and be patient with yourself? Give yourself just a little bit of love today because we all need it. And yeah, I'm so excited about today and I got completely off track. But I do invite you in all seriousness. I do invite you if you want to find out more about me, about how I work with women to discover their inner child, to release and heal these traumas and stop pushing, set down the control, stop chasing this peace that you're looking for, you're stretching, you're craving, because I'll tell you what, I was chasing it and I was chasing it hard. I wanted it so much because I knew deep inside me, I knew that something was off, that I started to say not doing it right. And that's not true. That's not true. Doing life the way I was meant to, the way I was designed to, the way God created me to. I don't believe He created us to push and grind and chase. I believe He created us to be first with ourselves and the overflow of energy and resources and love we give to others. And I believe that with every ounce of me. It's taken me a while to get there. And because I've been through some stuff, we've all been through some stuff. But that invitation to reach out to me, we can have a quick chat, see how it goes. What are you wanting? What are you seeking? And I will tell you if I'm the right person for you. I'm not going to tell everyone I'm the right person because I know I'm not, but I'll tell you if I feel that it's the right fit. And if it has to feel right to you too. It's got to be definitely a partnership. And we go from there. And I don't know how often I've mentioned this, but when I work with someone, I do videos and self-paced courses and things like that. And there's a time and place for that. And I don't happen to be that person. I am what you get from me, the power you get from me, the guidance you get from me is when we are in a Zoom room together or WhatsApp face to face, some sort of facial where I like to see people's faces and we connect and I hear you. And then I bring questions to you and observations that you may not necessarily see because sometimes it's hard for us to see ourselves in that light of what's possible, of a bigger consideration of how do you feel about this? And I ask the questions in a way that helps you feel comfortable bit by bit. And we start there. You're the captain of the ship. I'm the navigator. I show you how to get there. That's kind of like the short form of that. So hopefully all that made sense. If this resonated with you, any of what I said today, please reach out and I will put a calendar link in the show notes and you can schedule some time with me. It's a free call just to see if we click, and social media handles will be down there. I'll also throw my email down there if you have any questions. Yeah. Ask yourself, what if the safety you're chasing by controlling everything, is it actually keeping you from what you want and what you're searching and stretching for, the peace that you crave? So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to the flower shop.